The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Chit-Chatting with Jocelyn. This afternoon, I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Marie Knoetig. Hope I said that correctly.
You did say that correctly.
And she is a very lovely lady that I met a couple months ago, and just was so excited because, as a lot of you know, I've had multiple surgeries. I was assaulted on the job. And did the typical physical therapy, you name it, acupuncture, which actually, by the way, was great, different exercise programs, and just never, ever felt like I had achieved my original flexibility, my original strength. I just didn't feel like anything was working together at all. And I thought, well, this is the way it's going to be for the rest of my life. I'm just going to be disabled and think I'm disabled and feel disabled. But something said to me, there's something more. So like I said, I had done acupuncture. I'd even done the ice therapy. I don't like that. That's way too cold. I'd have to have like a cup of coffee while I was in the freezing little machine there. I can't do that. I had gone to a number of chiropractors. It just didn't fit. It just didn't fit. And so I knew there was something out there. I didn't know what it was. And I was talking with a dear friend who had been in multiple accidents and putting herself back together, and told me about Marie. And I was kind of like, oh, okay. I wasn't against it, but I just, I didn't know a lot about it. Totally open, but didn't know how to make it happen. And then I ran into another friend,
Yep.
Bob,
Yep.
and we were just talking, and I said, someone just told me about this lady, and she can help me. And I understand that she's had the same surgery I've had, and he's like, where is she? And I said, well, she's in Bedford. And he pipes right up and he goes, Marie? And I sat there dumbfounded going, yes, Marie.
That was pretty crazy. You got it from two different people.
Two different people.
That don't even know each other.
That don't know each other.
Yeah.
Never heard of each other.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing in 1 week. So It had to be. So all that said, welcome to the show, Marie.
Thank you for
I am
having
super
me.
excited to have you here.
Thank you.
And so it's going to be a conversation. I'm not going to put my spin on anything. I just know that you have changed my life so drastically.
Wow.
I can't tell you. I actually, there were days that I didn't have to roll out of bed, prop myself up and say, okay, day, here I'm coming, that I actually got up and didn't think about it. Wow. So, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, God, for bringing you into my life and my two friends, and that they come to you, because it doesn't happen very often. And in today's world, I think people are so afraid of not doing anything but traditional medicine, which has gotten very odd in the last year and a half.
It's challenging.
So tell me about yourself. How did you, well, first off, what do you do? What do you call this healing?
I call myself a healing arts practitioner. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I do that is because I'm pretty well-rounded in most of the healing arts. Okay. My background's exercise science. Mm-hmm. That's my degree. And I love science and I love medicine, but there's a lot of limitations in medicine. So I started on my own healing journey, having long thoracic nerve damage and a lot of damage to my right side. I started the alternative route, and I realized going the alternative route, there was a lot of holes in that as well. When you're in a chronic pain situation and medicine has done everything that it can, you're kind of stuck with yourself. And there was a point where I had no insurance, I had no physical therapy left, and my only option was literally, they taped my shoulder up and said, have a nice life. And I had to try to figure it out myself. And somewhere along the line, somebody put somebody in my way who had done a little bit of integrative therapy. She was a physical therapist, and it was more of an energy type therapy. And I thought, that's crazy, but I had nothing to lose at that point. And as soon as I started going to her, she used these little techniques on me. And because I was going to school at the time for my exercise science degree, she would show me some of the energy techniques. And she said, you know, you could be working on yourself for the next 20 years and just kind of dent it, but we'll do what we can. So I would go home and sit quiet, and I would focus on what she showed me, but then I would kind of see a whole nother way to do it. And it was just kind of crazy. And then I'd go back the next day and show her, if you do it like this, it kind of works a little better. And she would just laugh because, like, what the heck? And it got to the point where I really started understanding, because of my exercise science background, the body in a different way because of the kinesiology and everything else. And I'd also done bodybuilding way before this had happened. So I kind of was already inward looking at my body, trying to shape my body and make it what it was. So I had that little piece. And then from there, it just started building and building, where I started seeing what was wrong with me. And then I was able to kind of use the energy piece to work with the scar tissue and help the body realign the energy. And I learned that when somebody has a physical injury, say a broken arm, once the initial healing and the arm is healed, there's a pattern of dysfunction left. I can see that pattern of dysfunction. I can't help you with the broken arm. Your body has to heal that and fix that. What I can help you with is the dysfunction that got created because your body just went into a new pattern. And somehow, if you can map the energy out and work with that, the body will recorrect it. But you have to be present and aware of what's happening when we're doing that. And it just started working that way. Then I started seeing it in other people. And then I started just developing my own skill set and my own techniques. And over the years, I've just gotten to the point where I see it so clearly that it's just become second nature. And then when I really started to learn that we're all energy and there's so much more involved, it's not just the physical. There's an emotional piece. There's a piece of seeing more of what we are. I started to really get people to go more inward and start paying attention to what's happening with their bodies, and they're starting to correct it on their own now too. I have my grandkids who are very good at correcting it because they don't know they can't. And that's the really cool part, because we grew up thinking we can't.
He's got to call a doctor and he's going to fix it.
Right. So for me, I've learned ways to try to get people to open up and go more inward. But the challenge with that is we have so many beliefs that stop us from believing we can do that.
Such as? Give me an example.
Just the way you grew up and believing medicine is your only answer or alternatives your only answer. You know, both medicines have their value, but neither one includes you. My work is all about you using the medicine after you've used yourself.
Gotcha.
So learn what you can do first. Go inward, do everything. I mean, if you have a broken arm, go to the doctors. I'm not going to tell you not to.
Right.
But when you're in chronic pain, you're already done all that stuff. You've taken all the supplements. You've tried all the alternatives. All you got left is you. And there's so much. I mean, so much you can do. I have people doing things all the time that they blow me away, that they've figured out on themselves. And you really can, you know, use tools to realign your body, to wake up the nervous system, to break up your own scar tissue, to just basic stretching, to straighten out your posture, to get the muscles to work correctly. Because what happens is when you're in a chronic pain state, you degrade every day because you're cheating. If you can bring it back up and balance your body out, you can start to correct some of those things.
Got you. Because I know that I, with the multiple injuries and the nerve damage, I call it lockdown.
Well, that's what happens because your arms only work in a certain way. So every day it works that way. It gets weaker and weaker in that positioning. If you can bring it back up every day, you can start to activate that bad patterning. But the key is, how do you, without having to go to the physical therapist or the chiropractor, do it? So my goal is to give you tools that you can do it. And then when you see me or your massage therapist or your chiropractor, it becomes way more effective.
So it's a partnership.
It's
Always
a huge
partnership.
partnership.
Yep.
And that's the piece that's missing in medicine. The piece of you going inward and listening to what your body has to say. A lot of people healing from chronic pain have horrible nutrition. Your body can't heal unless it has the energy to heal. So again, my nutrition program is about learning to listen to what happens when you put food into your body, to fuel it appropriately so it has the energy to get you through your day, and then give you the extra the extra energy you need to heal things.
Right.
Right. Everything is about listening to what your body has to say about what you're doing.
And it does speak to us. Your body
All the
does speak to
time.
you. You just
All
have
the
to
time.
listen.
The problem with when the body speaks, it's not what we want to hear. So we are going to block it out threefolds, because as soon as you change one thing about yourself, you're going to have to change 20 other things.
And that's
As
when
soon
people
as you
say,
see that chocolate cake is causing you brain fog, you're going to see the alcohol is too. Now you're going to see the other thing is too. So you don't want to know that chocolate cake is causing you brain fog. You just do not want to know. So you will do anything to avoid that answer.
Yeah, except I would just like lick the chocolate cake. I may not have that slice, I'd still cheat, but yeah.
And that's what I call going inward to your body within, because your body within is the part of you that knows the chocolate cake's causing you brain fog. So I give you more energy techniques and ways to go inward, to start tapping into that piece of you, to start listening to that, because that's going to tell you that something you did during the day threw you off. Or if you stretch more today on your right side versus your left, you're going to get a better outcome. It's going to tell you you need more sleep today than yesterday. It's going to tell you you need to stretch tonight before you go to bed. And it's going to start giving you those cues so you become your own healer alongside your medicine. I am not telling anybody to not use medicine. I have never done that. But I say, what do you need to do first before the medicine? Because I see so many people taking all kinds of supplements and pills, and they're not gaining the outcome they want, but it's weakening them over time when all they had to do was make one lifestyle change. Yeah, and it's pretty bad, society as a whole right now, because we want to take the pill, we don't want to look inside. But those pills over time and aging is not a good outcome.
And pills, you mean pharmaceuticals?
No, I mean both.
Supplements as well, like vitamins?
It's not just vitamins anymore. Everybody's taking multiple herbs, the protein shakes, the protein bars. They're all multiple combinations on top. So your body forgets how to digest. It forgets how to process real food. It forgets how to have the energy to do other things. Anything that's not real shouldn't be in your body unless it's supplementing. Like if you realize I'm not absorbing right and my Bs, I really need to take extra so I can heal, that's okay. But you have to recognize that first. You don't just take Bs because you read you should take Bs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you need to know why you're doing it. You know, I've seen a lot of people take like some of the extreme workout drinks, and then their livers start really getting taxed, and then their digestion, then they start getting food allergies. Because when you eat a piece of broccoli, your body recognizes it as a live food and starts making enzymes to digest it. That's why if you haven't eaten it for a while, you get a little gassy. But then if you eat more of it, you don't.
Right.
If you don't eat any broccoli, you don't make any enzymes. If you take broccoli in a pill, how's your body going to make enzymes out of that?
It's not going to, because it doesn't
So
recognize
the more you
it.
take the pills, the more you need the pills. So what happens with people with the alternative medicine, they keep taking so many digestive enzymes, so many enzymes to do this, so many herbs to do this, they forget how to do it in their bodies.
Very interesting.
For me, I tell people, if you're going to do supplementation, which I do, because of the weaknesses that I've had, I call supporting casts. So anything that gives your body the tools to do what it needs to do. Don't go in and try to change anything. Because your body's so smart that if you give it broccoli and chicken and a potato and your liver's tired, it's going to feed it to your liver and heal your liver. You take a supplement to heal your liver because you think your liver's bad. All your energy is targeting on this liver now, and your body's going haywire. You're totally out of balance.
Gotcha.
You want your body to have the nutrition to fix it itself. You don't want to. And all the supplements now are all targeting your pituitary. They're targeting your thyroid. They're targeting your adrenals. They're targeting your liver. They're targeting your spleen. And it's dangerous. I see people's bodies totally where they can't digest things anymore, supplements anymore, because food is what makes your body go.
And it's now foreign to them.
It becomes foreign because all they're doing is taking processed stuff in.
Wow.
And people told it, well, I'm using raw food supplements, but give me a piece of broccoli and a raw food supplement.
Pick the broccoli.
What is your food gonna know? What is your body gonna know what to do with? So this isn't really medicine. This is just an awareness of food is energy, your body's energy, everything around you is energy and affects your healing. Food affects your healing, your exercise affects your healing, your environment affects your healing, the people around you affect your healing.
Yes.
Everything does. And
Anything
the more,
toxic, and that kind of covers that whole spectrum you just spoke
right,
about.
your emotions. So the more you can become in tune with yourself and start reading the energy of the situations you're in and reading your body when it's in it and know whether it's a positive flow or it's depleting you, you start to be able to fine tune your own healing.
Such as I'm a big person that's visual and examples, that toxic friend. And they're your friend and you talk yourself into it and, you know, it's okay, we're friends. But you have to step back and look that the actual relationship is toxic and how many things you're doing to either avoid a situation. That's what I've been discovering lately.
Well, as you open up and your energy starts to balance, you start to realize the things that deplete you. But then you got to ask yourself when you're in the situation, because I see so many people walking the so-called spiritual path, disowning anything that's negative and depletes them. Some things are put in our way for us to learn.
Correct.
So sometimes when you're sitting in front of that negative friend and it's depleting you, you got to ask yourself, why? What is my role in this relationship? What am I expecting from them? What are they taking from me? And what am I giving that I shouldn't?
Right.
And start to, is this serving me? Is it serving them? And then you kind of pick it apart and realize, what am I learning from them? If you're learning something about yourself and it's making you empower yourself, why would you get rid of them?
You wouldn't. Yep.
But people just cut them out. They cut them out all the time. And I'm like, you're selling yourself short because that person is in your life for a reason. Nobody's perfect.
No.
Nobody's perfect. We all got stuff. So the goal is to be able to sit in someone else's stuff and see that it's their stuff, not your stuff.
Not yours. Exactly.
And to be able to be comfortable in that environment and support them while they support you. And sure, I've had toxic relationships. I've had to walk away some, even from a family standpoint. But the learning was endless until that day I finally said, there's no learning here for you anymore. This is just really taking you down.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Then I had to make a decision. But all the years that I used it for learning, I would never give those back.
No, because it makes you that's what makes you a stronger person. That makes you that's like only talking to a certain group of people and never challenging yourself outside of your comfort zone.
Right.
You know, but you do have to be aware that there just are some situations that
Oh, absolutely. But that, again, sitting and going inward and asking. I have a meditation on my website, and for me, it's about asking to see what you need to see. It's about sitting quiet every day, and it's that simple phrase, show me what I need to see. And in the meditation, I make you go a little deep, a little inward, and really focus on the words and mean it. I believe if everybody did that and actually meant it, the world would be a better place.
I totally agree with you.
Because what happens is, as soon as you do it, you won't see anything at that moment. But as your mind is distracted, because it'll only come through, your messages only come through when you're quiet. You'll be doing the dishes, or you'll be mowing the lawn, or you're just, folding laundry, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, that laundry soap really smells strong. Maybe that's what's bugging my allergies. You're going to get those little messages along the way when your mind is quiet and distracted. If you put the intent out to the universe to help you see it, they're going to start to come through. You have to mean it, though.
Right. You can't.
Yeah.
It's funny. A friend of mine told me a story, and she said every single time, I ask, okay, please don't let this happen. She said it happens every time, so I'm not doing it anymore. It's just going to be what it's going to be, and I'll deal with it when it happens.
Right.
And it was just really funny how that came up, and and then it happened to me the next day, and I said,
Yep.
that was not true. That I did not believe it I didn't mean it.
Right.
And that's that's a very interesting choice of words, to mean it. Like when you say I'm sorry, mean it.
When you say it and you mean it, all of a sudden you feel almost like a little nauseous, or you feel this tingling over because you're like, oh no, I just opened Pandora's box, and you know you're going to start to see things. And what you see is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. And it's the darndest things. I mean, I had a woman, and she just had most horrible asthma attack, and she had an upper respiratory infection, then she had sinus issues, and she went to the doctor, and they kept giving her meds, and she's an older woman. And this went on for weeks and weeks, and it just wasn't rectifying itself. Then by the fourth week, I said to her, didn't you just get a new coffee table? And she's like, what does that have to do with anything? I said, well, you tend to be a little more chemical sensitive, and you just had it made. Maybe there's polyurethane on it. That can't be causing, and she paid $700 for this coffee table, right?
So of course it couldn't have been
Couldn't
that.
have been this.
Nope,
couldn't have been
be.
this. So this goes on to the point where she loses 20 pounds. The doctors can't figure out anything. A doctor's not going to sit there and ask you if you bought a new coffee table.
No, they want to know if you had the flu shot, or you took your medications, and
Right.
did you go see so-and-so and have
so
all the
as
blood
we're
tests?
picking this apart, this went on for weeks and weeks. She's getting sicker and sicker. Finally, I said, listen, will you at least put it in a paper bag and tape it up? Plastic bag. Tape it up, let no air out. Within a week, she starts
Really?
feeling better. She starts coming around, putting on weight. She's feeling better. So I look at her and I said, how are you doing? She goes, when can I take it out of the bag?
You can't.
Because, but that happens to all of us all the time, that it's something we're doing and they're medicating us for it. When all we have to do is make one little change that we don't want to see.
Right.
That's what type 2 diabetes is. That's what heart disease is. That's what obesity is. And we keep medicating to the point where we're doing gastric bypass. We're cutting off our extra skin. We're taking all these drugs. We're doing it because we don't want to know the answer.
Right.
But unfortunately, in not wanting to know that answer, we're living to be 90. I mean, you're nursing home bound if you don't want to know your answers.
And that's a very, very scary thought.
It's a very scary thought, because at 50, people aren't able to get out of the chair and do the activity that they want. They still got 40 years left at age 50.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't like, 55, you're coming around the bend, 65, you're retired, you think you got a few good years left in you. No, this is like 45 years at 50 if you're having a hard time getting off the couch, or you're overweight, or you already have type 2 diabetes, or you're already on cholesterol meds. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal.
So, and we don't have enough people like you, or enough education, or people taking your courses, going to your website, reading your book, and we'll talk about that in the second show. How would you recommend people start? How you have a website? What is that website?
It's marieknoetig.com. I also
Okay.
have a YouTube channel, Body Within or Marie Knoetig.
Okay.
I also have a Facebook and an Instagram. I put all kinds of self-help tips out there, different ways that you can help yourself, different ways to look at your health from different perspectives. There's all kinds of endless. I'm a tool girl.
Okay.
I try to give you as many tools as you can. So if you're sitting there wondering, how do I help myself? There's no question.
Gotcha.
You have something in your toolbox that you can pull out and try.
Do you do classes?
I have a couple of classes, online courses I started with to create, first about learning about yourself, the nutrition piece, then I have the exercise and sleep piece on ways that you can start to go inward and start to find out, why do you exercise? What does it mean to me? Why did I create my program? I don't want to give you a program. I want you to understand why you're doing what you're doing,
Because
so
then
you can make
be
it more
selective.
effectively.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, it's more about helping you understand why you're doing things to make it more effective.
I like that. Okay, so marieknoetig.com.
Yep.
Facebook, same name.
Body Within Healing.
The Body Within Healing.
Yes.
And you have Instagram, and you said a YouTube channel. And what is the YouTube channel?
Body Within Healing as
The
well.
Body Within Healing,
Yep.
which you'll see on the title, everybody out there.
Yep.
This has just been really amazing. People talk about it, but it's sort of over there in this room,
Yeah.
or just with this little click, and
Yeah.
okay, I do this, and because you don't want to tell anybody. And I don't understand why they don't want to tell anybody. Maybe because it just doesn't really have
it's considered woo-woo.
Yeah,
medicine.
it doesn't really have a title
Yeah.
that, well, I'm seeing so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Well, what do they do? And you get tongue-tied, because I found myself that way, and I just simply said, you need to read the book. You need to, develop from inside. You need to listen to your body. It's going to tell you, but if you're putting junk in it and you're not listening, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Right. And I just think there is a huge gap between alternative medicine and Western medicine.
Neither one of them have the answer unless you're involved.
Right. There's holes.
Yeah. You need to be involved, or they're both just...
Right, because they're both telling you
Right.
what to do
Right.
or giving you
Right.
what you need to do, and you're just kind of standing there going,
And
okay,
nobody's seeing
okay.
if you have a new coffee table.
Right, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It makes sense, though, because you've heard stories of people that had new carpeting, and they have headaches.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
whatever they put in the carpeting. Everything's got chemicals. Everything is off-gassing.
But for someone, it could be something they're eating that they've always eaten. It could be anything.
But you got to listen to those subtle little things.
You have to listen. You have to.
And nowadays, the food is just so loaded with things that you can't read. And it's
Not if you eat whole
sad.
foods like your broccoli.
Like your broccoli. Well, exactly. We have to, think a little bit ahead, or not be afraid that you're not going to have that slab of meat tonight, that it's going to be okay to have that salad or just pasta. I want to thank you so much, Marie, for coming, and I definitely want to keep this conversation going and let people know all about you and how they can help themselves, because you have so many tools. When we come back, let's talk about all those tools.
All right, great.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me on Chit Chatting with Jocelyn. See you next time.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.